ساتوی پسروینو داد شهیدانو کور داد باتورانو کور داد باتورانو کور داد باتورانو کور داد باتورانو کور ساتوی پسروینو داد شهیدانو کور داتورانو کور داد باتورانو.
In the name of Almighty Allah, good evening and welcome to this hour's news package. This is Suleiman Talash. The Afghanistan Bank said that it has further reduced the level of commercial bank limitations. Officials say that Afghani account holders can now withdraw up to 150,000 Afghanis in a week, and dollar account holders can still withdraw up to $2,000. According to them, the withdrawal amount for corporate account holders has increased from 5% to 10% a month. More details in report. In order to make it easier for people and businessmen, the Afghanistan Bank has further reduced the level of commercial bank limitations, and from now on, Afghani bank account holders can withdraw 150,000 Afghanis every week, which was previously 70,000 Afghanis, as well as dollar account holders can withdraw $2,000 a week, which used to be $1,000. Also, the withdrawal amount for corporate account holders has increased from 5% to 10% per month. But if the amount is not more than $200,000, before this withdrawal limit was $100,000.
The level of today's limitations has increased, and for dollar account holders up to $2,000, and for Afghani account holders up to 150,000 Afghani source. We try to wipe out the existing limitations that our dear countrymen without limitations have access to their accounts.
At the same time, a number of businessmen and investors welcome this action of the Afghanistan Bank and say that with this action, the money in the banks will be utilized and people's economy will grow.
If we really gave them access, investors, especially craftsmen, shopkeepers, and businessmen use their freeze money in banks. Our all locked money will be put into use. So, according to economic and marketing parts, this has positive impact. The good news is if this decree is implemented and all take their money put in banks, and if this decree is implemented well, this can bring the long-gone trust of banking system and in banking sector, and people by this way can run their trades.
On the other hand, some residents are also satisfied that the level of banking restrictions by the Afghanistan Bank is decreasing. They say that this will increase the amount of food and create economic progress.
We want the Islamic Emirate to develop the banking system that our country progress. This is a good action. Commerce progress, marketing will be good. A context of work will be made. An investor who wants to build a factory needs a lot of money. For example, if constructional works are increased, there will be work and development.
At the same time, economic experts believe that removing the restrictions will increase people's trust in the banking sector, and businessmen and investors will turn to banking again.
Cancelling or reducing limitations by central bank over customers of the private and governmental banks is a positive step, and this can revive people's trust. Again, but more activities should be done by central bank. Activities like this once again can revive people's trust on banks, and people have trust on banks in the future. Activities like this show that activities of the banks in Afghanistan are normal. This is a good news for people and private sector.
According to this decision of the Afghanistan Bank, individual bank account whose balance does not exceed $20,000 or its equivalent in Afghanis as well as bank accounts of companies whose balance exceeds $30,000 do not have a withdrawal limit. A coordination meeting was held to solve the problems of the letters, presentations, plans, and procedures sent to the Emirate agencies and ministries to the General Directorate of the Administration Affairs. In this meeting, Dr. Mullah Abdul Wasi, Chief of the Office of the Prime Minister, said that the Department of Affairs propagates the orders, decrees, and instructions of Amir al-Mu'minin Hafazahullah and the Prime Minister to other Emirate institutions. So it is necessary that the institutions should have more coordination and all-round cooperation. Qari Abdul Wali Siddiqui, Finance and Administrative Assistant of the Administration of Affairs, said that this agency has the role of a bridge between the Emirates agencies, and it's necessary to follow the laws and principles in completing the stages of documents and procedures for the betterment of affairs, and it leads to strengthening of the government. Robert Chatterton Dixon, charged the affair of the British Embassy in Afghanistan, visited the director of the National Agency for Preparedness and Access to Events, Mullah Nuruddin Turabi. Mr. Turabi said that Afghanistan has no role in climate change, but it has been affected by it. Meanwhile, Britain's special representative has expressed his country's commitment to provide more aid to those affected by the incidents through the United Nations and other organizations. Mullah Abdul Haq, assistant to the Deputy Enforcement Against Narcotics of the Ministry of Interior Affairs, met with the head of the United Nations Counter Narcotics and Crimes in Afghanistan. Both sides discussed the fight against drugs, addiction treatment, and alternative cultivation with farmers. The Ministry of Energy and Water says, in order to consolidate the ages of Amu River from 11 projects, 6 of them were completed during last year, and work on other projects is also underway. This is while in the third meeting of the Cabinet, the Ministry of Energy and Water was given the task to take decisive measures to prevent the destruction of Amu Sea coast. More details in report.
In the third meeting of the cabinet, chaired by Mullah Muhammad Hassan Akhund, the Prime Minister of the Islamic Emirate, the Ministry of Energy and Water has been entrusted with the task of taking decisive measures to prevent the destruction of the coast of the Amu Sea. The Ministry of Energy and Water says work has been going on in this direction since the last year to strengthen the shores of the Amu Sea.
11 projects were planned to consolidate the Amu Sea by Ministry of Energy and Water, in which 6 of them were put to use and others are about to be completed.
On the other hand, environmental experts say the Islamic Emirate can prevent further damage by identifying the vulnerable areas of the Amu Sea and consolidating it.
A needy thing is that a general study of the Amu Sea should be done, and in this study, weak points of it should be determined. After that, comprehensively, attention should be paid on weak points. In these shores, the common methods of the world should be used, which has less damage for environment, so this way the shores of the sea be consolidated. The lines which are in Afghanistan side of Amu Sea, these will be consolidated in fundamental manner that in the future floods and the ways of water cannot damage the Afghanistan land.
This is while a meeting between a delegation of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan led by the Mawlavi Ataullah Umari, Ministry of Agriculture, and the delegation of Uzbekistan regarding how to consolidate the shores of the Amu Sea was held in Balkh province.
Kabul Governor Mullah Aminullah Obaid met with the head of the country's dump community and a number of members of the community. In this meeting, the head of the community thanked the governor and added that with the arrival of the Islamic Emirate, there has been a positive change in their lives and they have benefited from the special care of the Islamic Emirate. They added that the doors of the Islamic Emirate office are always open and their voice has been heard. Likewise, the Kabul governor assured them of all kinds of cooperation. The Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan inaugurated the fourth port of the Heratan Mazar-e Sharif Railway, Naibabad station, after reconstruction. At the inauguration ceremony, the Deputy Prime Minister of Economic Affairs, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar Akhund, stated that the Heratan Mazar-e Sharif Railway will allow traders to transport goods at a lower cost and in less time, reducing the distance 50 kilometers compared to the previous line. In addition to 416 cases, Coast Court have executed 222 warrants within 1 month. Court city primary and specialized courts and all district primary courts in 1 month processed 416 files and executed 222 warrants. Thousands of citizens of Herat condemned the crimes of the Israeli invaders against the innocent people of Palestine and the martyrdom of Ismail Huniya. In a great public meeting, the gathered citizens called Al-Aqsa the first Qibla of Muslims and considered defending it as the duty of every Muslim. Two conflicts in Badghis and Logar provinces were resolved during two separate meetings. During different meetings in Badghis and Logar provinces, two disputes due to which 4 people were injured resolved with the mediation of the departments of borders, tribes, and tribal affairs of the provinces and tribal leaders. Officials and tribal leaders consider forgiveness as a fundamental part of the Islamic principles, saying that forgiveness creates close relations between nations. That's all for tonight. Thank you so much for watching.
شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوي پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور